All right, let's dive right in. Today we're exploring one of the biggest questions of our time, something that really shapes everything from our casual chats to our deepest core beliefs.
So what is truth? Seriously, is it something that you define for yourself? Something that's totally personal and unique to you? Or is it something bigger, something fixed, universal, that exists completely outside of our own opinions? That's the real tension we're going to unpack right now.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at this modern idea of your truth. Then, we'll explore the concept of a totally objective, divine source for truth, how that truth gets revealed, why it's considered so liberating, and finally, what it actually means to live by it.
Okay, let's start with a phrase you've probably heard a million times. Hey, that's your truth. This whole idea, which is known as relative truth, is absolutely everywhere. But what does it really mean? And what happens when you follow that idea all the way to its logical end? So, at its heart, relative truth says that truth isn't some fixed point on a map. No, it's more like a flowing river, something that's different for every single person. It kind of frames truth as a personal belonging, like your phone or your keys, instead of a universal standard that applies to everyone. And this idea has become super popular. But here's what we hit a pretty big logical snag. If my truth is that the sky is blue and your truth is that the sky is green, well, we've got a problem. Those two truths completely cancel each other out. They can't both be right at the same time. And this contradiction really challenges the whole foundation of a purely relative truth.
And that whole logical puzzle leads us to a really important question. If subjective truth kind of falls apart under pressure, then what's the alternative? Well, the perspective we're exploring today suggests a major shift in our foundation, moving away from ourselves and looking towards a completely objective source.
So here's the big pivot. The idea that truth doesn't start with us. It comes from an external, objective source. It's not something we invent or create, it's something we discover. A truth that's stable, consistent, and the same for everyone.
And according to this viewpoint, that objective source is God. The logic kind of goes like this. As the creator of the entire universe, God is the one who defines its reality. Think of it like a painter who determines the meaning of their own painting. In the same way, the creator establishes what's true about creation. Truth and even beauty are seen as flowing directly from God's very nature.
Okay, so that brings up the next obvious question, right? If this objective, divine truth, actually exists, how in the world are we supposed to know about it? How does it get communicated to us?
From this perspective, the main channel is Jesus. His teachings are considered true, not because of some brilliant human wisdom, but because they come directly from God. This is what connects that big, abstract idea of divine truth to a real, concrete set of teachings and principles.
So this leads to the practical side of things. How do you get to know this truth? Well, it's not a passive thing, it's an active process. It involves actually reading scripture, really taking it to heart, memorizing it, and through all that, learning more and more about God's nature.
Now we get to the part that really matters on a personal level. The claim isn't just that this truth is real, but that knowing it is fundamentally liberating. So, what does that even mean, to be set free by truth?
This is one of the most powerful ideas on the subject. The thinking here is that living outside of truth is actually a kind of prison. And by aligning ourselves with reality as it actually is, with God's truth, that prison door can be unlocked.
And you can really see the contrast here. On one side, living by a lie is like being trapped in an illusion, and maybe you don't even know it. But on the other side, truth brings illumination. It's like someone flipping on the lights in a dark room, letting you finally see things as they really are. That clarity, that alignment with reality, that's the freedom we're talking about.
So let's bring it all home. What does it actually look like to live in this light? How does an illuminated truth change the way we live day in and day out? When you boil it all down, the core message is this. God's truth acts like a lamp, lighting up our path. It's so much more than just a list of facts. It's like a blueprint for living. It gives us a sense of purpose and direction, cutting through all the confusion by showing us the way we were actually designed to live.
And so I'll leave you with this final thought. If truth really is a light that shows us what's real, it's worth asking ourselves, what parts of my own life, my relationships, my decisions, my beliefs, could use a little more of that light?